The Chitrik Academy is dedicated in loving memory of Rabbi Tzvi Hirsh Chitrik. In the previous lesson, we learned that the Mishnah can sometimes switch between the word kad and the word chavis. And we explained, let's go to our drawing board. We explained that the word chavis can refer to a jug or a barrel, as well as the word kad can also refer to either a jug or a barrel. Now let us continue the Gemara. We are holding 4 lines from the bottom, the Hameiniach. The Gemara now asks, why is it important for us to know, does the Mishnah need to teach us that a kad, which is a jug, a pitcher, and a chavis, a barrel, can be called either one in Lashon HaKodesh? Asks the Gemara, Lamai nafke mina. Why is this important to us? Let's make a question mark. That's the question. The Gemara answers, Lemekach umemkar. When it comes to buying and selling, when it comes to business, it's important for us to know what these objects, how these objects are called. Now the Gemara clarifies. Let's make it appear. Hechidami. What type of case is it referring to? Ilema ba'asra dekada loikaru chavis. If it's talking about in a city, Asra means a city where a kad, a jug, is not called by the name chavis, rather only by the name kad. The chavis loikaru kada, and a chavis, a barrel, is not called by the name kad, rather by a chavis. So in such a case, in such a city, halekarula. In such a case, we would not say that if a person tells someone he's going to sell a chavis, can he sell a jug instead? Because the name chavis refers only to a barrel in that city, and the name kad refers only to a jug. Let's make a period over here. So this answer, this way of explaining the Gemara is not correct. So Gemara says, Lo tzricha. No, the Mishnah's come to teach us in a certain case. Deruba karala lekada kada chavisa chavisa. It's talking about in a city that most people call a jug a kad and a barrel a chavis. Let's make a little comma. So that's the way most people in the city call it. They call a jug a kad and a chavis and a barrel a chavis. However, v'ika nami dekara lechavita kada. However, there are those, a minority, that call a barrel with the name kad, or lakada, and they call a jug chavita with the name chavis. Let's write this down. Let's scroll down a bit. We're talking about a city where, let's say this is the word, let's say we want to say the word jug. Jug. So 60%, let's make it 60%. 60% of the city call a jug a kad, and 40% call a jug chavis. And the other way is round, or the other way as well. A barrel, 60% call a barrel a chavis, and only 40%, the minority, call a barrel a kad. So in such a town, what's the halacha? Let's go back to Gemara. We're holding the last line. Mahu detema. We would have thought. Zil basaruba. You go after the majority of the town. For example, if a person tells someone, I'm going to sell you a chavis. Right, let's make two people. This is the seller, and this is the buyer. The seller tells the buyer, I'm going to sell you a chavis for a certain amount of money. The buyer's thinking, since most of the people in the town call a barrel a chavis, that he's buying a chavis, so he agrees he's buying a barrel. So he agrees to the price. So we would think that since majority of people call barrel chavis, so when the seller says, I'm going to sell you a chavis, he means a barrel. Comes the Gemara to teach us. Let's turn the page. Kamash Malan. We are now from our Mishnah. That we don't go, when it comes to selling things, when it comes to money, we don't go after the majority. And therefore, what does this come to teach us? So let's go back to our drawing board. Even though the seller said, I'm going to sell you a chavis, even though majority of the town call a barrel chavis, he may still sell the buyer a jug. Because since a minority of the town call it a chavis, therefore he can sell him he can sell him a jug. So a person, let's scroll down a little bit, can advertise on a sign that he's selling a chavis for very cheap. Let's write this down. Chavis. He's selling it for cheap. Most people think that he's referring to a barrel. Because you see, 60% of the town say, oh, he's advertising for a chavis. He must mean a barrel. However, the seller is allowed to sell even a jug because minority of the town call a jug a chavis. And that's the end of this Gemara. We're holding now the two dots on the top line of the next page.